Hey, one and all, Ernie Rivera here. I am very glad that you are here joining me on Monologue Mania. I wanted to talk to you for a bit. This is going to be a different kind of video. Here's the thing. So, I was planning to do a video earlier about me reacting to some of the best acting scenes ever. And I loved it, but unfortunately, I don't have the right equipment. So a lot of what I was doing, the sound quality turned out not great. I didn't realize it until it was already posted, so I undid it. I set it for private for now, see if I can fix it later. But I wanted to do a different kind of video that didn't have me relying on reactions. So I wanted to talk to you about why are actors so lazy and how not to be. This is a type of video that might upset a lot of people, but I don't think so. I think it's much needed. I think a lot of people get it. I don't think that the ones that are, if you, let me put it this way, if you're working in the industry and this is what you're about, obviously this doesn't apply to you, but to a lot of people who want to be working professionally, a lot of them, in my observation, are notoriously lazy, and this isn't exactly their fault. I wanted to get into why this phenomenon happens with not just actors, but also writers and all artists, really, and how to not let it be the case. So, to start off with, right, there is no barrier to entry. And what does that mean? Okay, so imagine this. Let's say you want to be an engineer, right? And you have to go to at least 4 years of engineering school, and through the program, they usually like weed you out, they drill you out, and the ones that survive are engineers, and they do their business. There are a lot of things that are like this, whether it be doctors, nurses, like any professional, really. Lawyer. If you're gonna be doing a lot of different jobs, whether it be like uh, any type of professional job, you have to do a certain amount of things before they'll even let you be considered. That is a barrier to entry. And with artists, there is no barrier to entry. So anyone who wants to call themselves an artist, anyone who wants to call themselves an actor, you're an actor now. You just have to call yourself one, and that is a huge problem because the thing is, they don't have the skills necessary to survive doing this full time, and that's what it's about, right? It's about not necessarily being ultra wealthy or being ultra well known, but it is about doing what you love to do. You have to love it. That's the first thing, and you have to be able to survive doing it. So let's talk about that a little bit. So as we discussed, there's no barrier to entry. So anyone who wants to call himself an artist is an artist, and that's why you get a lot of people who are lazy, because a lot of people want to be an artist because it sounds fun. And it can be really fun, but it's the the thing is, right, you need to put in a lot of work, a lot of effort in order to develop the skills that'll make you interesting for the observer. So let's talk about that. There's a rule called the 10,000 hour rule. I think it's 10,000 hours. So according to this one study, I forget which study it was, but it was a study that found that basically, in order to be exceptionally good at anything you do, you usually have to put in 10,000 hours of work. And how does that break down? So let's imagine you're doing it 40 hours a day, Monday through Friday, right? That'll take you about 5 years. If you give yourself a vacation week or two each year, that means you get about 5 years before you have the skills to be competitive in the market. And that's why, again, college is so important to certain jobs, that they put this in you before you even get to start. Not true with artists. So where do we start? We have to start putting in the hours. If you're gonna do this, the problem is that we don't always know what to be doing with our time. especially when you're beginning. You don't always know what to be doing with your time. And so you need to just work on whatever you have in front of you for at least, 40 hours a week. If you think of a full-time job as 40 hours a week, right? That means that you're not even doing a full-time job unless you're doing it for 40 hours a week. And if you want to get much better, much quicker, you got to put in even more time than that. If you look at people like Mozart, who were thought to be child prodigies and geniuses, and I'm not saying he wasn't, but what I am saying is that he put in countless hours when he was a little tiny child, just countless hours of piano practice, and that's what it takes. Okay, so there's this little rule called the S curve, right? And let's look at it real quick. So as you can see, kind of looks like an S, and this is a function. You don't need to be super familiar, but you just know this. Look, so imagine this. So imagine right here, this line represents time, and as time goes on, you're getting a little bit better, a little bit better. It's going up a little bit, but it's very slow at the beginning. And if you can keep going with it, keep going with it, keep going with it, eventually you start speeding up, speeding up, speeding up, speeding up, until you get to a point where it becomes exceptionally difficult again, and then you slow down as time goes on. So you are getting better. You're going up as you're going across in time. Um, my point is that it's really difficult at the beginning. You need to be able to put in countless hours at the beginning in order to overcome your lack of knowledge. This is true for just about anything. And in order to do this, you need to really love what you do, especially when you start going out there for auditions. You're going to face so much rejection. You have to be in love with what you do. It can't be about getting the job. It can't be about, getting famous or getting rich. It has to be that you are in love with the process. You aren't in love with the results. You are in love with the process. If you want to act, then you practice acting, and that is what you do. You do it all the time because you love it. You need to find a way to love whatever it is you do, and that's the only way you're going to make it through years of training. Okay, so let's say you do find a way to overcome your natural laziness, and you're willing to put in these countless hours, because you will need to. And let's talk about this, right? So just because you're putting in countless hours doesn't mean you need to wait until you've done 10,000 hours in order to start auditioning. You just need to put in enough work where you're at the proper place. Like for instance, if you put in a certain amount of hours, maybe you do a school play, maybe you do a little short film for a university, maybe you do something like that. But before you can get to the really big things, you do need to put in that work, because if you don't, then you might be put into a position where you have a lot of responsibility, but you don't yet have the skills to make it work. And so even if this one time it works, you will eventually fail. This is the truth with like musicians and one-hit wonders. They might have certain skills, but they weren't ready to be where they needed to be. So you can't hate the process. You have to be in love with it. It has to be that's what you're focused on, and eventually you will be ready for responsibility. They say that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. You may get opportunities here and there, but unless you're prepared for it, it won't work. Now, let's say this. Let's say you are completely prepared for the opportunities, and you start to work your way up. And this could take time, because you not only have to be good at your art, you also have to be good at selling your art. You have to be good at networking. You have to be good at figuring out how to meet people that you like to work with, that produce things that you like. Because if you understand it, if you love it, then you're going to be much better at it. But so let's say you've done all that, right? So what happens? What happens then? Do you immediately go all the way up? Do you skyrocket? I mean, possibly, but usually it happens in phases. This level, that level, this level, that level. And as you're going up, some of the pitfalls you have to watch out for is you have to watch out for liking the attention too much, for liking the gifts too much, for liking the reward too much. Because people get really caught up with, they become about the lifestyle, they become about the glitz and the glamour and all the accolades. But the problem with that is it doesn't make them better at their work. It doesn't make them a better artist. And if your art suffers, eventually your business will suffer, and your business is what allows you to continue producing art. You have to figure out a way to, yes, be part of that world where you're networking with people, and maybe people are giving you um, much deserved by this point compliments and accolades and such. But you have to remember, it's not about you. You are about your business. You are about your art. You are about what you do, and that is what counts. And if you can do all of that, then you have a strong chance of not being lazy, not being a lazy artist, and you have a chance of getting ahead. So I thank you guys for being here with me, one and all. I do appreciate you. If you can leave a like, subscribe, comment, I'd super appreciate it. Thank you for being here with me. Really, if you have any questions about doing art, about being an artist, about being in entertainment, or about monologues or anything else in the world, leave a comment and I'd love to talk with you. So thank you for your time. I appreciate you all. Take care. Peace.